there's always going to be this argument of what is it? Do you put more weight into the team's success and then you're the best player on the best team? Is it just your individual contribution? Is it how efficient you are? There's always going to be these arguments, but for what he did this year, you can't say that he doesn't deserve it.
Breaking news from MLS, Lionel Messi has been named the 2024 Landon Donovan MLS Most Valuable Player. Messi led Inter Miami to a historic regular season in which they set the league points record and won the Supporters' Shield. Messi led the league with 36 goal contributions. He was just the third player in league history to finish with at least 20 goals and 15 assists in a season. Messi became the fifth Argentine to win MLS MVP, despite only featuring in 56% of Inter Miami's regular season MLS matches, by far the fewest of any MVP winner in league history. Columbus's Cucho Hernandez finished second in voting at 33.7%, average vote behind Messi's 38.4%. So it was closer than maybe we anticipated. I don't know that any of us sitting at this desk are surprised that Lionel Messi is the MLS MVP, but Jaleel, what's your initial reaction to this announcement?
First of all, shout out to the homie Cucho, because his season was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And he just continues to get better and better and better. When he first came to the club, when we were all in Columbus, we were like, man, okay, we've seen Cucho play before, but we didn't know he could ball like this. Yeah. So, first of all, shout out to him. But when you talk about Lionel Messi, there's absolutely no surprise that he's the MLS MVP. And the reason why I say it is because people are always going to look at, oh, he only played 19 games, though. But he scored 20 goals, had 16 assists. His ability to always score and to always affect games, we just have literally never seen it. And people will say, oh, but this is MLS. Oh, but he was doing it in France. Oh, but he was doing it at Barcelona. So to me, I have no issue. There's no surprise that he is the MVP. And I think some people have looked at this and said, oh, well, of course, it's a foregone conclusion. You're going to give it to Lionel Messi because of who he is. No, it goes to Messi because of what he does and what he did this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, all those things are true, and you put every
Why
name.
not both?
Yeah, no, you put every name in MLS roster on a piece of paper, and you say pick who deserves to be MVP. The list probably goes Messi, maybe a Cucho next, maybe a Lucho Acosta. You know what I mean? Messi belongs in that conversation. But there should be something said for playing the majority of the season, and just tipping the scale past 50% of the matches, it just doesn't feel like enough for me. I think Messi
the most efficient player in MLS.
For sure, but that's not what this trophy
exactly.
is. So 56%, of matches played. I'm not necessarily saying you have to play every single match, but somewhere in the 80 percentile, like everyone else, feels like the right number. So if there's one asterisk against him, it's that. But he performed every time he was asked.
There's always the argument of what is the criterion for the MVP or for whatever it is.
What's the title? Most valuable player. How did the team do without him? Still won.
They still won.
They did still win, but he is the most important player and the best player.
He was in the playoffs. How'd they do?
On the best team. Yeah, but the playoffs they don't go into the MLS. They don't go into the MVP vote, as people say.
Right.
So there's always going to be this argument of what is it? Do you put more weight into the team's success and then you're the best player on the best team? Is it just your individual contribution? Is it how efficient you are? There's always going to be these arguments, but for what he did this year, you can't say that he doesn't deserve it. You can say that other players deserve it, though, but you can't say that Lionel Messi doesn't deserve to be the MVP.
Right, but I also think it's a circular argument when you start talking about really great teams with MVPs on them. It's always going to raise their level because they have the additional help. The other side of it is, yes, subjectivity and objectivity. How many people can just say, oh, unring the bell, that is Messi, like he's a cheat code?
Yeah, it felt inevitable. This felt inevitable that this was going to happen based solely on his numbers. The fact that Miami broke the points record, they won the Supporters' Shield. Yeah, they failed in the playoffs, but ultimately, you can make an argument that the season was a success for them. Let's talk about next season, though, okay? Looking ahead to this project that they have created in Miami. If they don't win an MLS Cup, is the project a failure, Alexis?
It can't ever be considered a failure, but it's certainly not the greatest success that we thought it would be.
Yeah.
And maybe they go on to win FIFA Club World Cup, and maybe they've won Leagues Cup, and maybe they win US Open Cup, but MLS Cup is what you expect a team that you've built like this to win. That is
superstars.
Yeah, that is the epitome of this league. If you're coming into this league, MLS Cup is what you're shooting for, not all those other cups. So at the end of the day, you can say this didn't reach the levels of success that it should have. But across every other metric, including financial, including marketing, including everything else, this was a massive success, and Jorge Mas deserves a lot of round of applause for that.
Okay, and a new manager next season in Javier Mascherano, who is relatively unproven as a manager. I mean, I think a lot of the success that Miami had this season was due to Tata Martino, especially when they were without Lionel Messi for
sure.
periods of time.
And without Messi, even prior to Messi joining that team, they were bad. You know, they started from scratch, which you'd expect for an expansion side, but they made great strides. They've added a lot of just raw talent to the roster. It's going to take time to figure that all out, but yeah, when you have the best possible players and you're an untested manager, do you really command the respect of...
Question marks. Question marks, Julio.
If they don't win MLS Cup, will the Messi and Inter Miami project be a failure? No, that wouldn't define it for me. Messi is obviously brought into this league, brought into North American soccer to change the way this sport is positioned in this country and in this region of the world. So I think that will be the defining metric. How do we look at when he is done in his time here playing in this part of the country? How did he change the way that this sport is positioned in the hearts and the minds of the people?
I mean, it's
a big ask.
It's a big, big, big ask. But congratulations to Lionel Messi. Another trophy